Do you guys want the overhead lights on? Okay. Everyone ready? Okay. It is with a heavy heart that I share with you that 16-year-old Colin Brown has died after being shot by a stray bullet on Interstate 55 Saturday night. He died earlier this afternoon. Colin's family has asked that I relay a message to the community about his passing. His family has expressed their deep appreciation for law enforcement, the hockey community, and those who loved Colin. They are asking for privacy at this time. Colin, a beloved and talented hockey player, passed away, but not before giving the ultimate gift of life. Earlier today, Colin's organs were donated to other patients who are in desperate need. This donation is an example of the type of young man Colin was and the kind of family that he grew up in. Their steadfast commitment to serve the people around them should inspire us all. Our homicide detectives have been working around the clock to ensure that justice is served in Colin's name. Since Monday, we have received numerous tips that homicide detectives are following up on. I can confirm that we have received new video since our last update on Monday. We're not sure what's on the video just yet, but our homicide detectives are analyzing that video very closely. We cannot stress how important it is for residents who live along Interstate 55 in the Loughborough area to review their security cameras. Please go back to last Saturday between 10:30 and 10:45 or 10:40 p.m. Review your surveillance video, and if you see anything on that video that might be suspicious, doesn't look right, please call our homicide division at 314-444-5371. St. Louisans are stepping up. They are already going back, looking at their video. We know that. We are asking the people who may not have heard that message yet, please go back, review that home surveillance video so we can try and bring justice to this innocent 16-year-old person. We are also asking anyone who is driving on Interstate 55 in the Loughborough area to call our homicide division if they saw anything suspicious that night. Again, Saturday between 10:30 and 10:40. Interstate 55, the Loughborough area. Anything that you may have seen that may help our detectives out could assist in this investigation. I want to reiterate how no tip or piece of information is too small. Somebody may be driving and say, well, I thought I saw this, or I may have heard this, but they probably already know. Please don't assume that. We need everything right now, and we don't know right now what little piece of information may help crack this case. That is the prepared update that I have for you today, and our homicide detectives are working and speaking closely with the family.
Do you have any more information of what exactly happened on that highway on Saturday night?
We know that Colin was hit by a stray bullet.
But the evidence you guys collected can't further to see if there was a rolling gun battle, or was it among two drivers, or are you looking at a suspect or suspects?
I don't have anything that would indicate right now whether there was one or multiple guns. It's something that the crime lab will continue to analyze. As we get some of those updates, we'll try and determine what information homicide detectives are comfortable releasing.
You have this call to action for drivers, but do you have any leads already with drivers who are on I-55 or in that Loughborough area already?
I would say that it's safe to say that we have received tips. We know that there is new video that we did not have Monday that we have now that the detectives are reviewing.
Is there anything you can say? Review the video yet, but do you know
I'm comfortable sharing that it's new video that we did not have Monday, but we have now.
As far as the investigation goes, I mean, are the feds involved with this because it happened on the interstate? How does that work?
There are multiple agencies involved in the investigation. When something like this happens, everybody will come together to assist and help and make sure that as a law enforcement community, we send a very strong message to whoever did this, that this type of disregard for human life will not be tolerated in this city or this region.
Is there any general description of what the video appears to have captured that you can provide? Was this a video after the incidents of a potential suspect vehicle or description? Was it the video itself of the shooting?
The detectives are working to review the video now. I'm not, the last update I have was that we were in the process of reviewing that. That was a couple hours ago. I don't know what is on the video. We know that it is new video. We don't know the quality of that video yet, but we know it's new. We know that we didn't have it on Monday, but we have it today, and it's time to start reviewing it.
Mitch, a follow-up real quick. I asked you, are the feds helping with this investigation, yes or no?
I know there's multiple agencies involved. I don't know every specific agency that's involved. There are many people involved at the table.
So you can't tell me the feds are involved right now?
I can't say that.
I know you don't know what's on this video yet, but can you commit to saying whether or not SLMPD is going to release this video publicly?
No.
Mitch, have you guys had other videos sent to you already?
It's my understanding that this, I don't know, but it's my understanding that this is the first video. That's what I was told. This is the first video. It's new video that's coming in since Monday. They may have received others. I'm not sure.
Basically, you guys are just asking to be inundated with video from that area.
We want anyone who lives in that area, that possibly lives along I-55, maybe businesses in that area, to check those cameras. No amount of information is too small.
Mitch, I'd like to follow up about response times.
Sure.
Are you standing by this person kept driving, crossing multiple districts, thus delaying the response? Because what we're seeing from the records is that it took 6 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. I mean, why did it take so long for police to give the all clear so EMS could get there?
David, I know that we've had numerous conversations, or I've had numerous conversations with reporters at Channel 4. When we look at the call notes, there was a 911 call that was active that entire time. The father was on the interstate driving. That call was being sent out. There were multiple locations that were being called out to dispatchers, and by the time that we now know, 4th and Walnut, he came to, that is when District 4 officers were sent. I can't speak to the ambulance, though. You'd have to ask the fire department.
Do you have an idea of that, going from that Loughborough exit to all the way downtown? Was he directed to go there, or do you have a better idea of kind of how that all happened?
I don't. I know based off of reviewing some very preliminary information, he was on the phone with 911. He was giving out locations that he was seeing. It's very possible at that point he was en route to Children's Hospital. Detectives will be talking to him about that to get an idea of maybe what happened. But the 911 call was active the entire time. It appears that when the shooting happened, there were also other numerous calls coming in for shots fired in that area. He immediately told dispatchers that his son had been shot. He was on the interstate. We were getting updated locations. That information was being relayed to officers and was being updated in the call notes. And that's when District 3 officers were notified. When he reached that location that we now know, 4th and Walnut, District 4 officers were notified. I want to, I don't know anything about the ambulance, though. That would be the fire department.
Mitch, can I follow up about, we've asked you, we've asked the mayor's office about, what the relationship between SLMPD, the city, Missouri State Highway Patrol on the interstate. The mayor's office is actually saying that they're down to have that relationship and have that full-time assistance. So I'm kind of curious, where today does the police department stand on it? What are you willing to do to make that happen?
conversations that I would have to have with other members of the police department, obviously. I think that there are numerous law enforcement agencies in this area that are down, right, in manpower and the number of officers that are on the streets. We work very closely with Highway Patrol when it comes to operations. You guys have all seen it. Some of you have reported on it. Some of you have ridden with our traffic safety division and traffic safety enforcement. Numerous operations are done on the interstate. We'll continue to do those operations. But if there's a conversation that the city or the police department wants to have with Highway Patrol about patrolling the interstates, we're certainly open to that conversation. We're not going to turn that away. We're not going to say no, but we also have to recognize that we are not the only police department in this country that is facing a lack of manpower.
You know, we asked this Monday, but should drivers be concerned? I mean, there was a random shooting and hit an innocent boy. I mean, what would you say to any drivers that are on Interstate 55 or on the highways?
I mean, this is this type of violence is not going to be tolerated by us. We want people to feel safe driving on the interstate. We want people to feel safe in the city of St. Louis. To have a 16-year-old boy who just left a hockey game get shot is incredibly rare. You don't hear about cases of innocent bystanders being hit by stray bullets often here in the city of St. Louis. When those acts of violence occur, we will put the entire weight of this police department into finding who did it, to make sure that they are held accountable, and we will work closely with the Circuit Attorney's Office to ensure that justice is served and that person is held to the fullest extent that we can.
Well, police provided a description of what the suspect's vehicle may have looked like. Do investigators have some information about what the color of the vehicle may have been, the make?
I would have to check in with homicide detectives. There were numerous calls for shots fired by people who either live in the area of I-55 in Loughborough or people who were driving on I-55. But I don't know if they have a specific description of the vehicle or a suspect vehicle.
Can you talk about the confidence?
But if I can, it's also nighttime. So we have to take that into account, that some things may look one way, but they're actually different because it is dark out.
Can you talk about just the confidence of the detectives to solve this? I mean, I feel like we're kind of searching for a needle in a haystack here.
I would say that our detectives are some of the best detectives in this region. We have seen that time and time again with some of our latest cases that were rather difficult, but our detectives were able to hold individuals accountable. And so when you see the life that was lost and you see the families outpouring of love for their son and their determination to make sure that his legacy lives on, that should inspire us all. And I have no doubt that our detectives are being re-energized by Colin's last sacrifice. And we are not going to stop until we know that whoever pulled that trigger, or trigger pullers, because we're still looking at that evidence, to make sure that they're held accountable.
I know Dad, retired Lieutenant Colonel with ISP. Do you think his experience in that, I know he's a father first, but any point that when that happened that he might have stepped into that role and maybe try to save his son in whatever way with the experience with law enforcement? Do you know anything about that?
I don't. I know that there was, by the grace of God, there was off-duty first responders that were in the vehicle behind the SUV that Colin was riding in. And those first responders, off-duty first responders, they jumped in to help. And that gave Colin one hell of a fighting chance. Anything else? Anything else?
On this or anything?
We can move on if you guys want to move on. Anything else? We are headed, we'll just kind of segue. We are headed into the Thanksgiving holiday. Please drink responsibly, drive responsibly. If you plan on going out, find a responsible driver. Don't drink and drive. We do plan on having an extra police presence in the Soulard neighborhood over the course of the next several days. We know that the Soulard neighborhood will probably see an increase in pedestrians and visitors for the holiday. And with a lot of young people in town visiting their families, we'll make sure that they have a good time and make sure that they celebrate responsibly. So we will have an added police presence in the Soulard neighborhood. And if you see something suspicious, please say something. But we will have an added police presence in that neighborhood throughout the holiday.
I think if it can go ahead and ask this, Mitch, is there an update with anything involving the Michelle Hampton situation?
We know that the second arrest was made. We shared that yesterday. There were charges approved yesterday by the Circuit Attorney's Office. The probable cause and the federal indictment sheds a lot of light on what possibly happened and what our investigators think happened. And we will continue to investigate like any case. With that being said, and I think that this could segue into not just the tragedy that we saw on I-55, but also the case involving Michelle Hampton. We have the ongoing homicide investigation on Thrush. We have the case on Alberta from the other day. Cameras are incredibly helpful to our detectives, and cameras are changing the way that law enforcement agencies work and investigate cases. And so as we look at the technology aspect behind how our detectives are solving some of these cases, we appreciate the work from the Board of Aldermen and then also the Mayor's office when it comes to our capabilities of using some of this technology. We know that all of the ways that we can utilize the technology. I believe somebody was interviewing the Assistant U.S. Attorney yesterday, but she had mentioned the cell site simulators. All of those plans are on our website on how we utilize that technology. It is an incredible tool for us to leverage when lives are in danger and when we need to protect our community.
You talk about the technology. What about additional shot spotters? I mean, especially on highways, would that be of any help?
Shot spotters are, and I don't believe, I'm trying to go off memory, I don't believe that Shot Spotter is covered in that stretch. Shot Spotter is an incredible tool when you're looking at utilizing it for investigative purposes. So for us to be able to detect gunfire in the city is very resourceful. In this case, our victim was moving, our suspects were moving. There's no perfect response time in that scenario other than an officer being right there in the northbound lanes of the interstate, or excuse me, southbound lanes of the interstate to get somebody into custody. So, Shot Spotter will detect us to the sounds of gunshots, but in this scenario with Interstate 55, we would have had to have an officer right there, witness it, go and stop the vehicle because of the interstate and how the access to getting between the north and the southbound lanes. So I don't think Shot Spotter would have necessarily saved anyone's life in this or caught a suspect in this case because of how the interstate is set up. But when you look at us utilizing it within the city, and you look at the ways that our department is utilizing Shot Spotter, it's incredible. I think I've shared with you guys recently that there was a Shot Spotter activation that we sent officers to. We collected the shell casings. We ran it through our system. We realized that it had connected to a previous homicide, and we were able to sent homicide detectives to where that gun had fired, and we were able to get a very strong lead and present a case to the circuit attorney's office because of that evidence. So if you utilize ShotSpotter in the right way, it is a great tool. I don't know if it would have made a difference in this case. Long explanation to a very short answer.
With the Michelle Hampton kidnapping and murder, is there any other suspects or persons of interest you guys are looking at, or as far as you know, Clayton is looking at?
Not that I'm aware of, but it remains ongoing. Okay. Please respect the family's privacy. I know that they've been very vocal in the last couple of days. They have asked us to relay to everyone it's time to give them the space. Okay? All right.